Well, President Bola Tinubu left Nigeria wearing one cap, and now he'll return to the country wearing another as a chairman of ECOWAS, while he seeks urgent action against military takeover in the sub-region. Enugu State Governor Peter Mba threatens to actually take instigators and enforcers of sit-at-home order to the International Criminal Court as he vows not to give in to agitators. Well, there you see that early on. You saw the war of words, which continues in Benue State as the opposition PDP insists Governor Hyacinth Alia cannot deny knowledge of the detention of the suspended local government chairman. And we hear from the governor's side on the show. We'll begin with our top story at this hour. Well, it is another responsibility for President Bola Tinubu, a continental one at that, as he emerged the new chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, after President Muhammadu Buhari, who previously held that position in 2018. Well, the new chairman of the sub-regional body declared that insecurity and terrorism, which are creeping in, were stunting the progress and development of the region. And he warns that the threat to peace in the sub-region had reached an alarming proportion, with terrorism and emergent pattern of military takeover for now demand urgent and concerted actions from member state. Our State House correspondent Gloria Mezoke reports.
On his first official trip within the African continent since assumption into office, President Bola Tinubu joined his African counterparts in Guinea-Bissau for the 63rd ordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State. It is also President Bola Tinubu's first meeting of the ECOWAS Authority, which was last held in December 2022 in the State House, Abuja. A report of the 50th ordinary session of the Mediation and Security Council, covering security challenges faced by the member countries, the financial state of the body, as well as the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, were also cogent matters discussed. At the opening ceremony, the president of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Aliyu Toure, congratulated Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu and that of his Sierra Leonean counterpart on their assumption into office as president.
Excellencies, I would like to thank all of you for your attendance. This is perhaps the meeting with the highest attendance of the heads of state and government. Peaceful political transitions in our region are always reassuring to our stability and is testimony of our deepening democracy.
Speaking through an interpreter, President of Guinea-Bissau and outgone chair of the ECOWAS Authority, Umaru Embalo, lauded Nigeria for her efforts towards sustenance of peace and democracy, but illuminates persistent regional threats.
Mesdames et messieurs,
in this perspective, I would like to remind you how important and urgent it is for us to consider other ways of mobilizing financial resources from each member state with our strategic partners in order to create the necessary environment to operationalize our action plan against terrorism.
Subsequently, President Bola Tinubu emerged as the new chairman of the ECOWAS after his predecessor and immediate past president Muhammadu Buhari, who previously held the position from 2018 to 2019. According to a statement released by the special advisor to the president on special duties, communications and strategy, the new chairman of the sub-regional body, President Bola Tinubu, stated that insecurity and creeping terrorism were stunting the progress and development of the region. He says on peace and security, the threat has reached an alarming level and needs urgent actions in addressing the challenges. Indeed, without a peaceful environment, progress and development in the region will continue to remain elusive. In this regard, we must remain committed to the utilization of all regional frameworks at our disposal to address the menace of insecurity. The president, who further noted that there is also the Regional Plan of Action on the Fight Against Terrorism 2020 to 2024, says, "I will ensure that we immediately harmonize these plans and mobilize resources, as well as the political will towards the actualization of the initiatives. We must work collectively to have an effective regional counterterrorism measure." The president further asserts that we must stand firm on democracy. There is no governance, freedom and rule of law without democracy. We will not accept coup after coup in West Africa again. The new ECOWAS chair had started off in Guinea-Bissau by giving Nigerian troops a morale booster when he commended the military for the enhanced stability in the region.
We assure you of our commitment to peace and democracy across, not only in West Africa sub-region, but around the world. And hearing that the allowances are paid up to date, we continue to build a virile force. We are very proud of you. And we will not abandon you at any given time. Nigeria depends on you. Nigeria will show the world that you are responsible and you are focused.
In the last 13 years, exports of Nigeria to Guinea-Bissau have increased at the rate of 23.3% annually, while the nominal GDP of the ECOWAS is pegged at $816 billion. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Well, back home, former Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo is thanking Nigerians for their support and understanding while holding fort as the Vice President of the country. Well, he was given this gratitude during a public Thanksgiving and Appreciation Reception event which was organized for him by the Kenya Development Association in his hometown in Ogun State. Well, speaker after speaker at the event eulogized the qualities of leadership, forthrightness and sense of patriotism and unity and growth of the country by the former Vice President. And now to the southeast region of the country, where the Enugu State Governor, Mr. Peter Mbah, says he's considering exploring the option of dragging both the instigators and enforcers of violence and illegal sit-at-home order in the state before the International Criminal Court, that's the ICC in The Hague, to answer to crimes against humanity. He made this known during his maiden media chat with Enugu-based newsmen and media executives at the Government House. He also declared that the state is winning the war against sit-at-home enforcers and will never take orders from people he described as enemies of Igbo land.
So imagine if we now descend to a point where someone, frankly, a murderer, would sit somewhere and tell us when to go to work, we honor him. When to sit at home, we honor him. When to take a break, we honor him. It means we've lost it completely. So this is why we need to understand very well this emerging threat, and we must do everything within our powers to end it, to ensure we bring to an end. And that will depend on how we frame the narrative. Whether we're going to allow those people who peddle falsehood to prevail at the end of the day, or whether we will allow the truth and call evil what it is, condemn it in the strongest terms, because that's not who we are. We are a people that are known for our industry, known for our hard work.
Well, to politics in Benue State now. With the release of a suspended local government chairman of Oshongo First, the one of Oshongo, the 82-year-old Mrs. Veronica Gadger, and 3 others held by the Department of State Service on Friday, the People's Democratic Party is calling out Governor Hyacinth Alia, who denies being remotely involved in their detention. The State Publicity Secretary of the opposition party, Mr. Bengba Yotium, who accuses the governor's chief of staff and two other appointees of culpability, questions how the governor can claim ignorance in a state he superintends. The suspended official spent 5 days in detention. So let's get more on this. We'll hear from the side of the governor and more from the opposition. We're joined on the program by Mr. Tersu Kula, who's the chief press secretary to Governor Alia, joins us virtually on the program, as well as Mr. Eotium, who's the state publicity secretary of PDP in Benue State. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Lunchtime Politics. Let me begin with you, Mr. Kula, because major allegations made there by Mr. Yotium, who also joins us on the program. And this has really dragged on for quite some time. Some say maybe this is not the best way to begin a government, but respond pointedly to that accusation he made. And he says that the governor cannot say he's unaware about the arrest and detention of the suspended chairman.
Yeah, I appreciate you for bringing me onto this program. Most thank you for finding an avenue for us to be heard by the public. We heard the allegations, and like I described before now, it is laughable that my brother and friends from the other side will think that every arrest carried on in the state must be authorized by the governor. What we simply said was that the governor did not authorize an arrest or direct an arrest of the people that accused the governor of authorizing their arrest. Whatever is their crime, as at the time they accused the governor, remain unknown to us, because the security agents, I believe, were doing their own job. And it is not in the powers of the governor to wake up every day and search the files to know how many people have been arrested in Benue. If information comes to the governor that somebody, a personality, is being picked, then certainly he will seek to know, but not through allegations from opposition of any other quarter that will compel him to know that. As the time they asked, as a matter of fact, we heard from the media that the people were picked, and none of them sent any message to the governor that they were picked and they needed intervention of the governor, that he said no, he cannot intervene. Moreover, you should know that the governor is the governor of Benue State. The governor is not there to suppress the law. Whoever is picked by security agencies should be able to answer his name, except when it becomes necessary for the governor to have knowledge of such arrest and intervention. He will be able to call the authorities and find out, security authorities, and find out why that person was arrested.
All right.
It is not by mere allegations.
If I could come in now quickly, I understand that Mr. Yotium is not able to join us yet, perhaps for connection difficulty, but I'd like you to respond also. He particularly mentioned or accused the governor's chief of staff and two other appointees of the governor of culpability. So if you say that the governor perhaps heard in the media, they are saying that, well, how about the governor's chief of staff and two other appointees?
Well, first of all, I don't know. We are, so far, we're just 5 that have been appointed by the governor in his office so far. You have the chief, myself as the chief press secretary. Then you have the chief of staff. Then you have the PPS. These are the people working directly under the office of the governor. And then you have a head of service and SSG. And so if he's accusing the governor, the chief of staff and two other officials, it's become difficult. It actually become difficult to understand, because one, why is it that he's able to mention the chief of staff but cannot mention the two other officials? That's number one. Number two, I don't know. If he were here, I would have asked him, maybe, just maybe, if he has evidence to show that the chief of staff actually authorized or ordered such arrest. Otherwise, I don't know what necessitated that statement. And I can rightly say that I think he was daydreaming. I mean, he just felt that the chief of staff was the one that his punches can rain on him without maybe retaliation. Otherwise, I don't understand why he should single the man out and accuse him of such I don't know if he has any evidence that the chief of staff actually ordered for the arrest. Please let him bring it up. Otherwise, we are not aware.
So, are you saying that the governor is also as concerned about that detention as the PDP is? Because you said he's a governor of a state. Is he as concerned? Is this something we would like to take up? Because some say, well, 5 days is a bit too long if you were to do an investigation. And I hear that he took a court order to even get them out in the first place. So is the governor going to be following up to ensure that not just people of his party, but even the opposition at least get treated well?
Oh yes, he's the governor of everybody. You must have heard from him from the press when he made mention that he is not the governor of APC, but the governor of Benue State. If you're in Abga, if you belong to a political party or not, he is still your governor. And so if somebody is picked and it has become a national concern to a point that his attention is drawn, certainly he will seek to find out why the person was arrested. If it is a crime you have committed to a point that he will allow the law to take its course, fine. If you are arrested unjustly in a manner that he will come in that a citizen or an indigent has been maltreated, then he will not hesitate to do that. But as it is now, such notice is yet to come to him as far as I know.
Well, his mantra, that's the Governor Ali's mantra before coming into office was heal the land, heal Benue. And I think that's something that a lot of people bought into. But with this brickbat, this political impasse, between the opposition and, your governor and the party, some say that it might be tough to achieve this healing. Don't forget, he still has to contend with insecurity, the recent killings, really shocking. And then to add this back and forth to it, is that really the right path to tow if he really wants to heal the land?
Of course, when you bring the issues of heal the land, it becomes difficult for me to say something. Of course, but I will still give it to you here that the spirit of exorcism, you should know what is exorcism. If you want to heal, sometimes the spirit of exorcism is actually what you employ.
So now, who is he exorcising? Who is he? Is it the PDP that he's exorcising? Because as far as I know about exorcism, it has to do with evil spirits or possession. So is PDP the evil spirit or what?
No, you don't. Good. You don't just heal the land. You heal the land of sickness. You heal the land of something that is disturbing, that is not normal. I think you brought the idea of heal the land. I mean, you just asked a question concerning heal the land. You are healing the land to do or to bring reforms that will stabilize the state, that will stabilize the politics, that will stabilize the financial standing of the state. So when you bring in reforms, you are healing the land. Right. It is when you try to introduce those things that were not there, that things were going wrong, that it means you are healing the land. And that is exactly what Reverend Father Hyacinth Mamalia has brought in. And let me tell you, one, a reformist has no friend. When you want to reform, right, and you say there are certain people that are your friends, you cannot achieve such reforms. Father Alia has come to reform.
All right.
And he has to enthrone that.
Well, we did try, as I said earlier on, to have the spokesperson of the PDP in the state, Mr. Bengbayo Chom, to, of course, speak to these issues, but he was unable to join. We'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Tersakula, is the Chief Press Secretary to the Benue State Governor, Hyacinth Alia. Thank you so much for your time on the program. Well, we'll go to break now, and when we return, there's a lot of anticipation in the air. Who will make the list of President Bola Tinubu's ministers? It's over 40 days into the administration. That's our focus in a moment. Join us again. Well, Well, you're welcome back. Former Governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, believes that those who are between the ages of 65 and 70 shall not aspire for ministerial positions under President Tinubu. Instead, he says they should recommend young people for such offices. He was speaking on our political program, Sunday Politics. He explained that even if he's offered a ministerial position, he will not accept it.
I will never take it.
You will never work for this government. Is that what you're saying?
Let me tell you something small. If I want to be honest with you again, some people may not like to hear this. Any of us that has reached the age of 70, almost 65 and above, I'm sure you should tell us to go and bring our children, our grown-up children, well-educated. Already their future has been stolen. The future of these young people are already stolen. They have rolled over their time with our time. Let me tell you very straightforward. If the future is for these young people, Ashiwaju, to my own view, and I share this with him, and I'm saying it again, it should be 40% for oldies like us, 30% for women, 30% for young people. It's the position of the president to take whichever way he goes. It's an advice. 40% for all cargoes. A majority have had a taste of government more than 3, 4, 5 times. Yes, they are still relevant to governance. They have a lot to offer. But young people in government must be 30% and women 30%.
Well, speaking of cabinets, this time at the state level, the Abia State Governor Alex Otti has sworn in 16 commissioners after their confirmation by the State House of Assembly, sounding a note of warning to them that excuses shall not be tolerated. Speaking while performing the swearing-in exercise in Government House, Umuahia, the state capital, Governor Otti urged them to serve their state and bring home their wealth of experience and unique skills as they work to rebuild Abia from the ruins of the past.
I'm glad you have answered the clarion call to serve your state and bring home your wealth of experience and unique skill sets as we work together to rebuild Abia from the ruins of the past. I'm also optimistic that you will deliver on your various assignments and justify the huge expectations of Abia public, who will be watching your every move to see how your decisions align with our vision as captured in our campaign manifesto and our promises to our people. You will be most watched and scrutinized commissioners in the recent history of the state, in the light of what you have achieved in your various callings before now. I expect you to bring in those hallmarks of excellence, commitment to the greater good, and sense of duty in your new assignment.
For more stories now, the immediate past Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, has returned home to his kinsman in Ika South local government area of Delta State. He and his family members were given a rousing reception in an event attended by the state governor, his predecessor, traditional rulers, and other prominent Nigerians. So he promised to support the fight against terrorism, especially among the youth, in order to foster peace and stability.
Dressed in traditional attire, a rare sight in a long while, the immediate past Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, in company of his wife, is welcomed to the venue of a grand reception by the Ika Nation in his honor after serving the country for almost 40 years. It's a roll call of dignitaries here in Agbo, Ika South local government area, including the Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oboroweri, his deputy, his predecessor, Ifeanyi Okowa, serving and former military officers, traditional rulers, among others. General Rebo, who was a member regular course 34 in 1983 and served as the 17th Chief of Defense Staff from 2021 to 2023 under the Buhari administration, appreciates his kinsmen for the honor and promises to continue serving the country.
And for me, I remain committed. Indeed, having served the nation for close to 40 years, 4 decades, what is left? So the rest of my life is committed to serving Nigeria. And that is a commitment that I'm making after consultation with my wife. That whatever it takes for us to have a beautiful country, whatever contribution that is required of me, that we will make. And to the incarnation, know that we remain your vanguard. We will protect you.
Governor Boroweri believes his service is still needed.
With his experience, there's no way we can just leave him. But definitely, we encourage him to also be part of us and also be part of this nation, because retirement is not, he has retired, but the experience that he has gathered, this nation still needs him to serve in different capacity.
Besides honoring General Irabo, former Delta State Governor and a former CDS General Alexander Bumudia says Nigeria is work in progress that requires unity of purpose.
For every job we do, there's always room for improvement, that you know. So a new man has come now. He's going to look at issues on the ground, what the challenges have been, what areas we can make amendments here and there to achieve a total solution.
We believe in a united Nigeria. We believe that there is a need for us to have peace, because in peace we'll develop. I'm very confident that the choice of the current Chief of Defense Staff is one that would also bring great joy to Nigerians.
General Irabo was born on 5th October 1965 in Agboika local government area of Delta State and was commissioned as second lieutenant in 1986, where he rose through the ranks to become Nigeria's 17th Chief of Defense Staff.
Well, that's been the program for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Coyote Okikilo. Goodbye.